every day with blue skies, and on every occasion that you do or don't smile. And every time you dance for joy or lust or anger, and every time you haven't got it right.
Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Reviews, the series where we look at sensible and practical cars that you can buy for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. This is a 2016 Skoda Octavia Mark III 1 litre TSI SE DSG estate, which is an absolute mouthful of letters. But is it any good? Should you care? Well, let's find out, shall we? So the Mark III Octavia appeared in this country in 2013. The original Octavia was launched in some markets in 1996, so there's quite a tradition of these cars, and you can still buy the Mark IV today. Whether or not you can buy one of these for a budget of £5,000, sort of yes and no. One like this has only done about 29,000 miles. And it's in really good condition. It's had one owner from new. Absolutely no. There's more than double £5,000 mark, actually, I would say, for something like this. However, if you're looking at an older one than this, say a 2013, with high mileage, then yes, you just about get them for £5,000 in good condition with an MOT, which is the principle that we live by on Sensible Secondhand Reviews. There were multiple engines available for the Mark III Octavia, most of them shared with the Golf, the A3 and the Leon, which are also based on this MQB platform. Base engine when the car was launched in 2013 was a 1.2 TSI engine with 103 horsepower. In 2015, that engine was upped to 108 horsepower for reasons I don't particularly understand. I think it might have been to do with the Euro 6 regulations, I don't know. That engine was replaced in 2016, same year this car was registered, by a 1 litre TSI engine, 3 cylinders, which develops 113 horsepower. The mid-range engines in the Mark III Octavia started with a 1.4 TSI engine with 138 horsepower. In 2015, that was up to 148 horsepower, and I've driven that engine in quite a few cars now, actually. In 2018, that engine was replaced with 1.5 litre of exactly the same power output, 148 horsepower. I don't really know why. You could get the 1.4 and 1.5 TSI engines with cylinder deactivation. Above that, there was a 1.8 litre engine, which was I think the only petrol engine available in the Octavia Scout that had 4-wheel drive, and that was replaced a bit later on, I think, for the facelift, which was early 2017, with a 2 litre 187 horsepower. And then we get on to the really crazy engines used in the VRS, with 3 of them, all 2 litres in capacity. First one produced 216 horsepower. That was later supplemented and then replaced by a 226 brake horsepower version of the engine, and then after the facelift there was a 241 brake horsepower version of the engine that later replaced the 226 as well. There are also some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. What we do talk about is just how thoroughly pleasant this car is to drive. It's really easy. Now, higher trim Octavias than this one, this is just an SE, which is the second one up from the base, had a driving mode system, and I have used that on a 1.4 SEL model, a pre-facelift like this one. And you can play around eco and normal and sport individual. If it were me, the first thing I would want to do is probably get rid of this really light steering. You can do that with the higher trim cars and put it into sport mode. You can tailor it so that you have, if you really want to, the eco drive system and the firm steering. And I would prefer the firm steering of this because it is just too light for me. My Seat Toledo, which also shared the same engine as this, but not the gearbox, but the same 1 litre TSI engine as this, had steering that was also too light. Even at 40 miles an hour as we're going along now, the steering is just a little bit on the light side. My goodness me, viewers, weather's a bit better here than when I last came here on New Year's Eve when it was torrential rain. So nice sunny day. Actually, this colour on this Skoda is quite nice. I think it looks very pleasant. It's only the SE, so we haven't got anything too fancy going on. We've got relatively small wheels on this. I think actually they're 16s on this, but they're, you know, just not looking too big. Got plenty of tyre sidewall on this, and I think it's just a very pleasant understated design. Facelift came out early 2017. This is a 2016, so it's just before that, and a lot of people think actually this very much simpler front end does look better than the split headlamps that the facelift brought in. Many years ago, we're talking I think 5 years ago, I actually sourced one of these for one of my friends. It was a slightly higher trim than this. It was a 1.4 SEL, which I think has larger alloy wheels, a bit more sort of chrome embellishments on it. But the SE was, and the variants of the SE, and there are lots of variants of the SE trim, was the most popular Mark III Octavia estate, I think. Oops, excuse me. So if we have a look in the boot, and that's one of the main reasons why you might buy one of these. 610 litres of space. Huge boot. I think bigger than something like the Vauxhall Insignia at the time. So press this. There we go. I feel powerful, viewers, today doing that. So this is actually adjustable height boot floor. We've got reversible mat in here as well. And if we lift this up, there we go, full size spare. Viewers, I am excited, very excited. So there is adjustable height floor. This is in the low position, and you can fold the rear seats by pulling these things. I'll just have to check actually in here. We're clear before we pull those. Yeah, that's fine. So we can pull that. Springs down like that. How easy is that? Obviously I've got to go and put it up again as well, but there we go. I've got hooks aplenty. Look at this, it's so utterly rational and thoughtful, which is fantastic. Space in there for the first aid kit or whatever you need. Jump leads, blankets, just anything you want. And you consider this car is actually based on not a Passat. It's actually based on a Golf, and you're looking at the sort of size of this comparison with anything like, you know, even the Mondeo estate of this time, it's brilliant. And I remember when I was with my friend looking at one of these back in 2018, we did look at the Mondeo, and we looked at the Mazda 6, and they're very nice cars as well, but this just offered better value for money and the same or better space. So you can see why people just keep on choosing these and why they sell so well. The Octavia, I think, is one of the last cars actually in this class, because everything I've mentioned, the Mazda 6, the Mondeo, the insignia, they're all gone. Right, see if we can do this with one hand. We've got a little bit where we put the belt buckle in here to stop it snagging. I don't think we do, but we'll have to do this with one hand. There we go. There we go. I wonder if we have the ski hatch in this one, because I think some of the lower ones didn't get that. Ooh, yes. There we are, viewers. More utterly rational thinking. If you go skiing in your Octavia, you probably want the Scout version for that, which is one of the ones that's available with four-wheel drive. So we'll take a seat in the back. Why not? We'll take a seat in the back. Yeah, still got hard touch door tops in here, but that's the same for everything on this platform. The Leon's like that, the Golf's like that. Industrial rear windows, of course, and this isn't the S model. I think that only has manual rear windows. One thing that's a bit mean, and you can see from this steering wheel, you don't get buttons for the infotainment system on the steering wheel. You can see there are none. You have to go up to trim to the Elegance or the SEL to get that. So we got door bends. Sorry about the lighting, by the way, viewers. This time of year, sometimes it does happen like that. We've got rear vents, which is very nice. The seat's very comfortable. That's really good. You can see why a lot of these are actually used for the private hire trade. Also, you can see that Michael, who owns this car, is a very careful person. Look at that, we've still got the plastic on top of the courtesy lights at the back, which there are two, which is great. So we've seen the centre thing folded down for the ski hatch. What's it like, just like that? Yeah, it's great. Fabric looks very, very kind of hard wearing, and just ideal for family life, really, which is, I imagine, the vast majority of private buyers who have one of these would be using it as a family car. And my friend's still using his, it's 2017, the one he had, which he got in 2018. He's still using it for his family, which is great. Easy to get in and out, it's no problem. I think personally I prefer a green car. I like green cars, that's just sort of my thing, or a darker blue would be my preference. So this colour is nice and bright. I think it looks ideal on maybe something like a Fabia though, really. Again, very easy to get in and out. Nice and clear. Very clear instruments, except these buttons are missing on the steering wheel, which is annoying, but never mind. Also, there's no drive mode selected down here. There's the door lock button, and there's the stop-start button, which a lot of people just turn off anyway. I know Michael turns that off, which is fair enough. Oh, normal handbrake. Excellent. Normal key. Ooh. I think some of you are already getting quite excited, viewers, because these things are gradually being taken away from us in modern cars, aren't they? Right, we'll see if I can put the phone down a bit. There we go, so we don't have too much of that. Let's see if the secret mission documents go in here. Oh no, not again. Why do Volkswagen insist on doing this? Putting the CD player, or what would be a CD player. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Not only is a CD slot not here, it's not even there either! Ah! Viewers, if you went into a Skoda dealership in 2016 and you were looking for a car, they've actually taken away things. Oh, that's really mean. One of the main problems I have with modern Skodas is that a lot of the things that you think would be just normal are options. Options. Like that CD player would have been an option. I must calm down, viewers. I get really annoyed about Skoda and their propensity to put everything that you want on the options list. Let's see if we can have some... Ooh. 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 That's better, viewers. Oh, I enjoyed that very much. That was great. It's all lined and everything, sort of rubber lined, and that's better, isn't it? And the aux input and the USB port are in a sensible place. And the air conditioning controls, actually this has got climate control, this car. Climate control controls. Just get my normal key out here. There we are, nice normal Skoda key. Let's put that in there. If I can turn it with the other hand. Can I do this? Yes, I can. Simply clever. Welcome to Skoda. Excellent. So there you are. It's got dual zone climate control in here. You can adjust the temperature separately. We'll have a look at the infotainment system whilst we're here. Once this loads up, there we go. Vehicle status. It's a bit warmer here today than it was earlier on. I know that's open. Stop start information. It's a very familiar system to loads of people. There's a lot of Volkswagens use this same system. Right, stay there. Don't have bad lighting again. Right, okay, so no sat nav in this, but that's not really a problem for most people. I shouldn't think you'd be using your phone like that. So that's not going to be a problem for most people, I wouldn't have thought. Car is all this sort of thing. It's just showing sort of what's going on when you're in traffic or whatever. And we can go back to the selection here. We've got consumers driving data, drive green. It's telling me how I'm supposed to drive. Is that my average fuel economy? Oh, since start one, I've not got a score. That's not fair. Right, media. Okay, source. What sort of sources can we have? BT, aux. I've not got anything plugged in at the moment. Settings. I was wondering actually on this whether we get the possibility of Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, SmartLink. Oh, great! Yet more options. Viewers, I've got to calm down, haven't I? I really must just calm down a bit. Ooh, we can have images that will be plugging in via the USB port down there. Sound, radio, media. Get the picture, viewers. You've all seen this kind of thing before, haven't you? It's nice to have these physical buttons on here. The upper trim models do have a bigger screen than this, and the post-facelift ones have a completely different system from this. This is the older system, which was similar to one in my Toledo. So soft touch materials on the dash, which is nice. Leather steering wheel feels good. Maybe the S model didn't even get a leather steering wheel. I wouldn't be surprised. No auto wipers, no auto lights. A lot of you probably won't care about that. You can get that on the upper trim. So just turn that off. Again, massive door bins. We're actually lined properly in here with felt, which is nice. Familiar old electric mirror and electric window controls for about 1 million different Volkswagens. Most of it, actually. Let's have a look under the bonnet, shall we, and see if we can once again escape this problem with the lighting. Now, this little 1 litre engine looks totally lost in this engine bay. It's only got 3 cylinders. Obviously, you can fit an Octavia with an engine up to 2 litres, so it's double the capacity of this little thing here, which just looks totally lost. It's so lost that you can actually see the gearbox down there as well. So you've got to be wary, particularly of 2 engines that the Octavia comes with. We can talk about anyway. There are some we can't, because the Mayor of London and his friends around the country say that we must not mention them, otherwise we should be charged. So this has a wet timing belt. Michael, because he's had this car from new, has had the timing belt on this car done. Must not ignore the timing belt intervals on this car. Absolutely don't ignore that. Wet belt is not good if you don't make sure you change the oil regularly and keep to a timing belt interval. The 1.2 engine that this replaced had a timing chain, but they're actually quite well known for timing chain failure. So again, if your car has a 1.2 engine, but when you go to see it and it starts rattling, then that's a bit of a problem. If you have one, make sure that you just keep it maintained, change the oil, and just sort of look after it, and you might find that actually they do need replacing even if you have looked after them. So that's just a couple of things about this. We've actually got the newer style coolant reservoir here. A lot of the other cars that actually this engine came in used to have the old Volkswagen Group coolant reservoir, which dated back to the mid-90s, sort of dawn of time. But this one just has the newer one, which is nice, I suppose. It's quite a big battery for such a small engine, isn't it? That's quite a big one. Interesting. Anyway, let me not sort of dwell too much on things. Why don't we go for another drive, viewers? Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below. So it's perfectly fine to sort of go along, but the ride is quite comfortable. I think it's probably a little bit softer than in Leon, similar to a Golf really, but this is a physically larger car. It's got about 11 centimetres in the wheelbase, but it's longer, so probably makes it ride even better. And Golfs aren't known for you know, riding badly anyway. One really strange quirk with this car, and it's the same with everything else on the MQB platform, is that it actually has different rear suspension for more powerful models. This has a normal torsion beam suspension in the back. It's a non-independent system, whereas the VRS models have a multi-link independent suspension system in the back. With the Golf, that multi-link system was available on some of the kind of more normal models. I think anything above about 140 horsepower, I think it was, got the multi-link system. But yeah, it's not too bad. The road services around here are often quite poor. You know, you can still feel that a bit, but it's not too bad. Certainly, this engine actually got enough power to get you out of trouble. You'd think that a tiny 1 litre 3-cylinder in a big old car like this would sort of be overwhelmed, but actually it's absolutely fine. It's really not a problem. And it's a very, very, very easy car to place, even though steering's just a little bit on the light side for me. It's an easy car to place. It's generally a thoroughly pleasant car to drive. And if I was a very undemanding driver most of the time, which to be honest, a lot of the time I am, and you know, I drive a similar sized car to this a lot of the time, Mercedes C-Class, then it would be sort of fine. I just think I need to have the upper trim just to get that driving mode, so I can tailor the car to how I would prefer it. But apart from that, it's all very easy and very forgiving. It's very Skoda. One thing I would say about these gearboxes is that they can be a bit of a pain if, you know, they happen to go wrong. I've had DSG gearboxes go wrong on clients' cars before, and part of that is to do with the fact that they said originally you didn't really need to service these very regularly or at all, I think in some cases, but you do. But servicing intervals probably about every 40,000 miles. It could even be less than that in some cases. And if you are going to buy one of these cars with this gearbox, please make sure that's been done, or just, I don't know, go for a manual. Let's now have a look at some Skoda Octavia Mark III estate trim levels. So when the car was launched, it was S, SE, Elegance and VRS were the main trim levels, but there were lots of variations on the SE. The SE Drive, the SE Business, the SE Sport, the SE Technology, and then the Elegance was actually replaced before the facelift by the SEL. Other trims available were the Sport line, the Black Edition, the Lauren and Clement, which I would absolutely love to see. They're very, very rare, the Lauren and Clements. The VRS Challenge. I've had to skip out the Tour de France and Green Line Edition viewers because we don't talk about diesels on this channel. So, should you consider a Skoda Octavia Mark III estate as a sensible, practical car for your hard-earned budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. I don't see why not. I mean, you're going to be looking at quite an old one if you do get one of these for under £5,000, which is possible. Ideally, you want to be going up to maybe about double that for something like this. If you are going to buy the 1 litre or the 1.2, please check the timing belt and the timing chain respectively. These cars do have electronic problems. They can suffer from, things like these window rubbers going funny and things like that. So, they're about 10 years old, the oldest examples now. Just be aware of that when you're getting one of these. You're not getting a brand new car. Well, prices are holding up actually quite well for these, surprisingly well. So, you might have to pay a little bit more than you'd imagine for these, but it might be worth it. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching this episode of Sensible Secondhand Reviews. Thank you to Michael for allowing me to film his car today. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like us, leave a comment below, and we shall see you soon for more reasonably priced motoring.
1, 2, 3, 4. Every blue day, every